Hey there, doing my next vlog. This one's with Brett. He's been in the industry for about a little bit under 10 years or so. Really up and coming PPC guy. Looking forward to talking to him about a bunch of topics, mostly importantly about giving back to the community, helping people out, being a mentor and stuff like that. So that's gonna be fun to talk about. He is a Google product expert, so that's fun and something that I really enjoy talking about specifically. We're also gonna talk about some third-party PPC integrations and concerns around that. So I hope you enjoy this interview and hope you enjoy meeting Brett. Stay tuned. Brett, thanks for coming out to see me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Could you please tell people in this camera over here who you are?
Yeah, I'm Brett Bodofsky, a senior paid search specialist at Elumynt, a digital agency that focuses primarily on e-commerce clients. However, we do have a mix of both B2B and B2C.
And your specialty is in paid search, correct?
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, extremely passionate about paid search.
Awesome. And how long have you been in the, digital marketing search space?
About 8 years now. I actually got my start back in high school. I took a web and print course, quickly decided that, print wasn't necessarily my thing, wasn't very good at graphic design. However, I very quickly decided that, I really loved web development. And that's kind of how this all progressed into paid search at a later time is, they had me doing web development, which led into a little bit of SEO, content, email marketing. And I always felt that there was a gap there that I couldn't figure out how to fill in terms of how to get more traffic. And then eventually I stumbled upon a job that needed me to do paid search in addition to all those things that I mentioned previously. And I quickly clung on to the paid search side of things and immediately wanted to narrow my scope into that.
And that was at this Buy Reservations place?
Yeah, so I worked for two companies, buyreservations.com and internationalholidays.com. And they really had me doing the gamut of all things tech and marketing. So I was doing the IT support, I was stuffing envelopes, but I was also doing content, email marketing, paid search, like literally everything that encapsulates digital marketing and tech, they had me doing. And now I'm more narrowed in my focus with paid search.
So you were pretty much doing everything back then, but back then you kind of knew you wanted to do paid search while you were doing that, or?
Yeah, so like I said, when I was in high school and I was learning about all these different digital marketing technologies, there was always that gap of, I just wanted to bring in more traffic and I didn't really know how to. But as I progressed from being more so of a web developer into this next role at Buy Reservations and International Holidays, they explained, they would want me to be doing some paid search. And that's where the love for paid search really came in, because I just realized like how much volume you can really bring in through that. And
how do you start learning that? Do you just get a Google Ads account and just start playing, or?
Yeah, so I would say that I'm pretty self-taught. They definitely did kind of just hand me the keys and say, have at it. Obviously make informed decisions. So I learned a lot from the Google Ads help community, all the articles that folks such as yourself and a lot of the peers that I respect were putting out, and that's really how I learned. And that's actually one of the things that I'd love to talk about is, how you can give back to your community, to people like me who are just getting their start and trying to figure out paid search.
Right. So before we get into that, are there any people you want to call out in the community to put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Outside of me, but maybe a Ginny Marvin, maybe a Greg Finn.
I love to name drop. So Julie Baccini is someone that I really respect in the industry. She's done a real lot by hosting PPC chat every week. She's done a tremendous job at that. That's something that we'll definitely want to touch on later on today. So Ginny Marvin, Frederick Valais is another great one, Kirk Williams, all big fans of theirs. They put out a ton of content that has really added a lot of value to my career and the agencies of which I work for.
Cool. And then from Buy Reservations, you went to a place called Hero Digital.
That's right, yeah.
Can you talk a little about why did you make that change?
Right, so I was working at Buy Reservations and International Holidays, and it was a great company to work for. Really enjoyed my experience there. It really made me a well-rounded marketer. However, my love for paid search was just far too strong, and I needed to find a way to narrow my scope. So I went ahead and joined one of the top marketing agencies in Philadelphia, and it's been a wrap ever since. Always just been doing paid search.
Cool. And then you left that company and you joined this new company. You've been there for about almost a year, maybe a little less than a year.
Yeah, I've been at I want to say I've been at Elumynt for maybe 8 months now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you make that move? I mean, you started during COVID, right?
Yeah, I actually started during COVID, so it was definitely a risk. I was just simply looking for the next step in my career, and also I wanted to get my hands dirty with a larger set of clients. So there I was working with a lot of B2B and some B2C as well, but I hadn't worked with all that too many e-commerce clients. So coming into Elumynt, that was kind of like a fresh client base for me, and something that I found exciting, because with paid search, there's always challenges, or even in digital marketing, there's always challenges, right? And when you're taking on a new type of client base, that's definitely a challenge, and it's something that I'm always game for.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about helping people.
Yeah.
It's one of my passions. As you know, I just spend a lot of my time writing and trying to sharing, and hopefully useful information, and also try to make people laugh at the same time. So what are your thoughts about, I know you said it's a special month. April is month of what?
I think it's National Volunteer Month, actually.
Okay.
So I'm glad that I was able to get here in time.
It's too bad this won't be published during that month. It's going to probably take a few months to edit this, but go ahead. I mean, you were saying?
You really need a lot of people like Julie Bacchini, right? She didn't necessarily start PPC Chat, but she keeps it running, right? And every week she's talking about the most topical subjects when it comes to paid search, and everybody's joining in on the conversation and getting a lot of value out of it, probably as much as they're putting in it as well. And there's a lot of other ways to give back as well, rather than just participating in that. And those are some of the things that I'd love to discuss with you. So for example, the Paid Search Association is going to be launching into their mentorship program. That's an excellent way to get involved and really give back to your community, as so many people have done before you. I know personally, it's really nice to have it's really nice to have someone to bounce your ideas off of, or just have someone to talk to and guide you through your career and maybe give you some guidance. And I think the Paid Search Association's mentorship program gives you an excellent opportunity to do so. If you're not willing to participate in that, perhaps do it on the side, and maybe you'll find someone out there that just needs help, right? Another way to get involved in your community, specifically paid search, is the Google Product Expert Program.
Right.
I feel like this is really under discussed. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but the Product Expert Program is kind of intertwined with the Google Ads Help community, which, if you ever have a question, you can log into the Google Ads Help community and simply ask your question, and you'll have random people from all over the internet that are also interested in PPC answering your question, not necessarily people that work at Google. But the way you can give back to your community is by being the person that responds to these questions. And they also incentivize it. They make it kind of cool. So like right now, I can officially claim the title of a Google Silver Product Expert. So they have different rankings. They have bronze, silver, gold. I think there's platinum and diamond now as well. So that's something that you can add to your resume, but also feel good about helping other people when you're doing that.
Right. I remember when they first launched it, it goes across multiple products. It's on the Webmaster Forum, it's also on the Search Forum, it's on the even Google Photos. Every product they have a Google Product Expert Program, and you can sign up. I remember before they had that program, I was part of the Google Forums, and I used to post a tremendous amount. And then they upgraded the forums. Mm-hmm. You lost all your post counts, and I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I'm done. And they came out with this like back then called Top Contributor Program, which is now the Product Expert Program.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just spend the time publishing on my own sites. This way it gets to a bigger audience, and I'll just copy and paste what you guys write on the Product Expert Forum. So if you ever have any tips that you think I need to break or to escalate that you see in the Product Expert Forums, shoot me an email. I'll try to cover it. I like to cover what is kind of trending in these forums. Yeah. And especially on the PPC side, I kind of miss a lot of stuff unless I see people, like you mentioned, being vocal about it on Twitter. So feel free to shoot me information from there if you can.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely will. And something I should mention about that is you said you kind of like to hit on the trending issues or topics. Yeah. Is they actually give you access to a members only login. And from there, you can there's actually a section called trending issues, and you can see what the most prevalent issues are across the Google Ads Help community that day.
That's cool. Yeah, and you can escalate stuff. You have access to things. You get to go to these conferences. They give you discounts at the Google I/O events, I believe, or free passes. So there are a lot of perks, but you don't get paid by Google to do it.
No.
And it is a lot of work, and a lot of the people on there that you're helping can also be pretty aggressive at you.
At times,
and take out their frustration on you, even though you don't necessarily deserve it. That's all part of helping the community. So.
Right. It's just, it comes with the territory, and at the end of the day, you should feel good about giving back to the community and answering questions. And it's fun too, because these pages do sometimes, these forums do get indexed. So if somebody happens, it's not just that one person you're helping, right? If somebody happens to have that same question and looks it up via a search engine, it's very likely that they'll see your answer as well, and you could be helping hundreds of people that way.
For sure. I mean, that's where I think a lot of the early search marketers, SEOs, PPCers got their start were in these forums. Not necessarily Google forums. It was like pre-Google forums. So like a lot of the old school people, they all were in like Webmaster World, SEO Chat, Jim's World, all these old forums. And Google made their own forums and kind of controlled the conversation by doing that. Although it's not really controlled in the Google forums because it's like an open forum, it's UGC. But it's, you know, gotta say the Google product experts are Google fan people, big time.
Oh, for sure. They're big fanatics.
They definitely help the message along with what Google wants. So you mentioned PPC chat, Google, the forums, the Google Top Contributor, product expert stuff. You mentioned the paid search.
Paid Search Association.
What else you got?
They're considering launching into a mentorship program.
Awesome.
I believe we'll see something in regards to that shortly. In addition to that, there's some other great ways you can give back to the community. I mean, just what me and Barry are doing right now with this vlog, this is valuable content, right? Like somebody might get something out of this. So consider starting your own vlog or joining another to try and provide value to others across the community. Podcasts are another great way. A lot of great podcasters out there. Can I shout out some of my favorite ones?
Of course, go ahead.
Paid Search Podcast, definitely check them out. PPC Roundup. There's also, I don't know if you would consider this a podcast, but PPC Town Hall is a great way to really stay on the up and up on what's going on in our industry. They tend to talk about the most topical things in our industry at the time, so definitely check that one out as well. Oh, and Marketing and Clock, of course.
Marketing and Clock, yeah. If there's any thing you're taking from this conversation, it's about sharing what you know with everybody else. Sharing your knowledge, sharing your information, and just do that. You become better at it. When you write something, when you talk about something, you end up learning and knowing more about it by just talking about it. And there's some value to that. Of course, helping people is really nice. So that's pretty cool. We got some cops coming over here to the IRS building.
Oh, ruh-roh.
This is live stuff going on right now. Breaking information. Actually, they're looking at a bag.
Should we give a news report?
This is what vlogging is all about. Anyway, hopefully that bag doesn't explode. If it does explode, it'll be pretty cool vlog footage, but it's pretty sad also. Somebody just left a bag there and they're taking it.
Oh,
they didn't even send a little robot to see what's in it.
They just picked that sucker up.
Yeah, this is why the police are helpful. They just risk their lives every day. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to the PPC world.
So yeah, we talked podcasts, we talked mentorship. What else did we talk? The Google Product Expert Program. Writing articles is another great way. I mean, that's the reason why I'm here. Really, is I'm pushing myself to try and provide value for the community as well. I've never been on a vlog before, but I figured I'd be able to provide some users with some value. So that's why I'm here, and hopefully they'll be able to take something from this conversation.
I appreciate you doing this, and I'm sure they will appreciate this as well.
Yeah.